In this module, we're going to learn about the jump to action. This is a very useful action. It allows us to jump the user from the current dialog node to a different dialog node. In this module, we'll work through a simple example to see exactly how to do this. The jump to action is used to change the flow of the dialog. We can be in one particular branch in the dialog tree and then very easily jump to a very different part of the dialog tree. Jump to is often used to bypass asking for user input before moving to a child node. This is incredibly useful. However, we're purposefully not going to look at this use case in this module. However, do bear it in mind because you'll need to use this technique when implementing your final lab solution. And finally, being able to change the dialog flow allows for reuse. We can now route flow to a common dialog node from multiple different locations in the tree. So let's give this a try. We're going to extend our existing example and add the following functionality. First, we'll create a new nonsense intent, and we'll set it up so that nonsense will always fall through to the anything else node. Second, we'll train a new help intent. This way the user can ask for help and we can provide tips on how to use the system. And finally, we'll use jump to again, this time to route the anything else node to the common help node. Alright, let's get started. So here you can see our example. So we're going to extend this. Our first step is to create a new nonsense intent and then to ensure that any nonsense automatically falls through to the anything else node. So you'll see I already started this. So if we look at intents, I've added a new nonsense intent. Now I've provided a CSV file so that you can import the nonsense examples very easily. Now if we try this out, I can type something like this. And as you can see, it was classified as nonsense. So this is really nice. We didn't have to change our dialog at all. Since none of our nodes have a condition that matches nonsense, it just automatically falls through to the anything else node, and hence why we see the anything else response. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is train a new help intent. This way we can create a node that'll provide our users with some tips and tricks so that they can understand how to use the system. So let's first go to intents. And we'll create a new intent called help. And we'll add a few examples. How does this work? I need assistance. I need help. What can I do? And we'll create that. And now Watson is going to begin training. Okay, now that Watson's done training, let's give it a try. What can I do? So as you can see, Watson identifies this as the help intent. We have not yet created a dialog node for help, thus it falls through to our anything else node and replies with the anything else response. So let's go ahead and just change our anything else responses. We'll just make them a little bit less specific. So we'll just say, I didn't understand that. And sorry, I'm only trained on national parks. And now let's go ahead and create a help response so that when someone asks for help, we can provide a useful tip. So we're going to click on the conversation start node, and we're going to hit the add button, and we're going to create a new node whose condition will be triggered by the help intent. And then we'll provide a useful response. And that response will be, you can ask me questions like, what parks do you know about? Okay, and if we try that same question again, what can I do? You now see that we respond with our helpful answer. Okay, now anytime a user types something that we can't handle, for example, who is Tom Brady, which is matched as nonsense, we get, I didn't understand that. So this is because the anything else node handled that response. So let's go ahead and have the anything else node jump to the help response so that we can see both outputs. So click the anything else node, and we will add a jump to, and the jump to is going to refer to our help node. And we have two options. We can go to the condition, which will evaluate the triggered by clause and then report the response, or we can go directly to the response. In this particular case, we want to go directly to the response. So we'll click that. And if we go ahead and try an input that's out of bounds or nonsense, like who is Tom Brady, we get back both responses. We get our anything else response, which is sorry, I'm only trained on national parks, and because we jump to our common help node, we now see its response as well. You can ask me questions like, what parks do you know about? All in all, this is a really nice way to create reusable parts of your dialogue and then jump to them from a different part of the dialogue. In this particular module, we learned about the jump to action and some of its uses.